What's up YouTube? You guys may recognize my voice because it is AG Kaijin. This is my second channel, and pretty much what I do on this channel is I'm going to be posting my dev arc because I started scripting because Roblox was that dead that I wanted to make my own game. So in the past few weeks I've been scripting, and yeah, this is kind of like my little devlog, and I guess you could say kind of like a tutorial because I'm going to be pretty much making different anime abilities. Before actually scripting the skill, the first thing I always like to do is make a simple framework. The point of this is just to help with organization, because later on when you have many skills and different abilities and whatnot, it will get a lot more confusing because I have a different world with like I think 10 different abilities, and it's very confusing. So I decided to create a new one, and I'm going to be using a proper decent framework so that it doesn't get messy when trying to, you know, change skills and whatnot. So as you can see, this is my framework. It's nothing crazy, nothing special. Like I said, it's just a little way for me to detect whenever the user presses a button, and when they do, it requires the module script, and then the module script just does, you know, what it needs to do, and, you know, makes the ability. So that's pretty much what it does. So yeah, let's just get straight into like the planning of the skill. Alright, so the plan for this skill is that it has like 3 different main parts. The first part is obviously playing the animation, but linked into this, I also want to make it so that whenever the animation is playing, the little flame particles appear on the user's hand, so it's almost as if the flame is coming from the character's hand. The second thing I wanted to do is that instead of just like moving it forward or like pushing it forward or whatever, I want to use a raycast to, I guess you could say, detect the final position of where it's going to land, and then tween it to make it move to that final position, which is like, in my opinion, a better way of doing it than compared to like some of the other tutorials on YouTube. Then last but not least, we want it to delete itself, and obviously it's going to make a clone and whatnot so we can have infinite uses, but it's going to delete itself so it doesn't cause lag later on in the game. Alright, so on screen is the fireball we're going to be using, and the charge particle for the fireball. So when you're charging it and it appears in your hand or whatever. Yeah. Alright, so the first thing we did was we played the animation, and then we welded the charge up particles to the character's hand, but we did run into a problem. As you can see on the screen, it emitted like way too many particles. Like it was just like, you could hardly even see your arm, so we had to fix that. So to fix this problem, what I had to do was I had to loop through each individual part inside of the particle, and if it was a particle, then I turned it off. Basically, I set the particle.enable to false, so that made it so that almost every particle inside the charger wouldn't show instantly. So then after that happened, I welded it to the character's hand, which is what you saw me do earlier, and then I put the parent to workspace so it can actually appear. But then I did another loop to turn every single particle on, except this time I set the rate to 50. So this pretty much made it so that it charges up, sorry, and it rates 50, so it's not emitting as much. If you guys know how to make it so that I could just change the size of the particle, please let me know in the comments below, because I've been struggling with that for days and I can't really find a proper good solution. So this is kind of like my only solution to that. So I just changed the rate of it to 50, so it kind of like emits less particles. And then after that, I do a task.wait 0.65 seconds. So this will wait 0.65 seconds, then it will loop through everything inside the charger again. And if it's a particle, it turns it back off. And then after that, it deletes it. The breeze add item is pretty much the way you can delete particles, delete anything. It's a better way than using destroy, because destroy isn't that effective for, everything has their uses, you know what I'm saying? So as you can see now, when I use the skill, instead of, you know, the particles just appearing everywhere, you can see when I click on the charge inside the workspace, the charge is spawning in. Not only does it have less particles, it spawns in and then deletes itself after about a second, so it doesn't stay inside the game causing lag. Alright, so now we want the actual fireball to appear. So to do that, we create a clone of the fireball, we named it fireball. Then we create an origin, which is like the start position of the fireball, and we did the origin is equal to the character's humanoid root part.cframe multiplied by cframe.new 0, 2, and -8, which makes it spawn 8 studs in front of you and 2 studs above you, so it doesn't spawn on the ground. And then we obviously did fireball.cframe is equal to origin, and then we set the parent to workspace, so it actually appears in front of you and appears in the workspace. Alright, so the next thing we did was create a raycast. So we pretty much created, for those who don't know, a raycast is pretty much like an invisible line that like from one point to another point. So we created a raycast to determine the final position of where the fireball should land. So yeah, you can see there, those are all the, like, you know, the positions or whatever. We did the raycast, and after that, obviously you won't be able to actually see the line because it's invisible. So we run in the game, as you can see on screen, we run in the game and nothing actually happens. You don't expect anything to happen because my file just deleted. But yeah, like I was saying, the raycast doesn't actually you won't see anything, but what's actually happening is we're shooting a ray 50 studs in front of the fireball. So just directly 50 studs in front of the fireball. So I guess you can see that's kind of like the range. And we're going to use that final position that is stopped at to move the fireball. Alright, so what we do now is pretty simple. We just create a tween, and the tween pretty much just moves the fireball from the start position, which is the origin, all the way to the final position of the ray. And we made it last 0.5 seconds. So it just shoots out like 0.5 seconds, so like a really fast fireball. Obviously you can change that to make it faster and whatnot, but yeah, you can see it works perfectly. Alright, so after that, what we did was we did tween.completed. So pretty much this code will run after the tween is finished. So when the tween is finished, I created a coroutine. I don't think the coroutine was really necessary, but I decided to do it anyways. I'm trying to get in the habit of using coroutines. So I created a coroutine that pretty much just yeah, it just turned off all the particles, and it deleted the fireball after 1 second. So you can see on screen now, it shoots out the fireball. Then once the fireball is finished, it deletes it after 1 second, and it turns off all the particles. So that is the fireball complete, but then I realized I forgot to add the trail. So as you can see, I'm just putting in the trail inside of the fireball, so the trail can almost, because the trail is a particle as well, so it's going to emit at the same time as the rest of the particles. So it just works perfectly anyways, which you can see we do here. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I might do a part 2 where I try to add a hitbox and like make it do damage and whatnot. If this video gets like, I don't know, 50 likes, I'll probably do that. So yeah, if you guys have any questions down below, just let me know. And if you guys have any tips down below, let me know, because I'm still new. I've only been scripted for about 3 weeks. So any tips will be much appreciated. And without further ado, we out.
끝에 억울해 됐어 지금까지 나가見えない絆なんて